Alrighty, Nova Space Armada. Today we're going to talk about the new update that came out, which will be having some balance changes, my fleet updates, and some new thoughts and experiments, theories, suggestions that I'm giving you guys, the community. So first off, they released a giant balance changes. So they changed a bunch of ships. I'll try and go through a few of them as best I can. So here's the first one. Nero got a 25% damage buff to the sub-cannon, which is huge. They also finally gave it an extra M slot unit. So I've been talking about Nero for a long time. We've been discussing this for a while, so they finally gave it a M unit component, which is great. So this is finally, people are actually using this for damage. They're actually, putting accuracy on it, having some pretty darn good results, which is good. It's always been so close, and now it's finally officially in the spotlight, at least for now. Not like spotlight, but like, where it's actually like good to actually invest in as far as damage goes. And then they have some modest buffs. Everything got like some stuff here and there. I don't know, maybe this is the same or not. I do know this was buffed slightly, 160 now, and I thought there was something else. But yeah, that's it. I guess it's just got a modest buff to this. Now it's 115. Yep. I don't think anything else has really changed on that. This got a modest buff as well, a very small one, 130. I think these two were changed slightly, like an extra like 20% between the two of them. Maybe that got changed. I don't remember very well. Nothing else has changed there. Enterprise, I don't think it had a huge change either. Jin got a change. This. So now battleships and drones are boosted by 20%, which is a lot on top of its already special form. This. Okay. And then let's talk about. All right, the biggest change is Pacificator. They got rid of its missile conversion stat, which gave it missile damage. Now it's laser ship, so laser buff. This is still the same, which is good. And this is insane. 25% battleship buff. About the same as Sec, for no reason. Way easier to get, way cheaper. Pre-Matrix. This is one of the best ships to get for pre-Matrix for buffing. I don't know. I'm happy about it, but like, good gracious, 20% more damage just because like, and this is really easy to get. So yeah, I would say if they swap one of those out for laser damage, and this is now, instead of just being missile, I think they had one for missile. It's now that one is 120% damage for beams. So these two are 100%, and then this is yeah, it's just everything, all resistances, not just one. But yeah, the package is so bad. That's good. This is pretty good. That's bad. That hurts. That's one thing too about the ship that's not great. It's just you're gonna have trouble with your health pool. That's all. Especially because I don't think. Yeah, that should be higher really, but whatever. It is free matrix anyhow. But that was one of the biggest things. This is now like almost. I don't know, man. It's like not as good as Sec, but still. Sec got a change as well. Sorry, that was just an email. Let's see here. Small buffs. I think this is all the same. That's the same. So this. Now when you max this up, everything, cruisers and battleships get a 30% damage buff in combat, and this applies wherever. So it used to be, if it's the front row, you get armor, and the middle row, you get the damage. Now this is damage wherever you put it. So that's easier for all of us, and it's also pretty darn strong. Alright, sorry, I'm trying to sneeze. Think about sneezing. I don't know why they buffed Anansi again. I don't know why. I don't know why. People were complaining that Anansi is just glass. And I mean, sure, they're weaker than other ships, but for the damage they do, I just don't agree with the way the consensus was. Anyway, so they listened, and they added another M slot armor and a whole other M component. That's for sure. They had a whole other M component slot. Just because. Like, sure. I'm pretty sure they had another M slot here. Or it was another S or something. You see the one I have down here is they're both just this. I think it was another M slot, yeah. Which is crazy. There's two M slots just because people were complaining about it. I don't know why either. I mean, just look at the stats. I mean, high health. I mean, it's pretty high health, pretty high shield, even for a cruiser. And if you wanted to, this has the subcannon's so high that you could just, you know, put more evasion and still have a lot of damage. I mean, I just don't understand why people are complaining so much about it. Anyway, so they did that to appease them, and it's so funny because people already kind of moved past them. And anyways, good for me, I guess. This is great for free-to-play players because these are pretty easy to get. Honestly, I sometimes recommend just grab a bunch of Benazis. Just make a bunch of Benazi fleets. I mean, they're so cheap. I mean, you need your Cepheus, you need Augustus. That's end game. But like, how cheap these are? Like, just grab a bunch of these, do a ton of damage, and with all these changes, you can still do evasion and live for darn while. Let's go back to my fleet. This gives more evasion. This got significantly buffed because of this. That was okay. The damage is not great. It got buffed, but still not great. This is insane. Formation row by 100%. Used to be 80, now it's 100%. The whole damage. So all of these every, I think it's like 18 to 22 seconds or something, it gets 100% damage for 6 seconds. All of these. So yeah, that's insane. Other than that, this ship is meh. It's fine. It's not worth putting all this extra stuff on. Just shoot 1 second and make it not die, and that's it. I'll show you guys the battle logs in a minute. Yeah, so Cepheus used to be like 100%, 100%, and then you had this. They changed this out. This is now an 1680 accuracy. So the damage got a little lower, but I think it's better because the accuracy. Accuracy is the name of the game at high levels. And we'll discuss a bit more about how that's good a little bit later. But yeah, so they changed it from 100% and 100% to more accuracy, which is pretty darn good. This got buffed. It's now 178. This got buffed. Now it's 38. And also this got buffed 16% now. And yeah, so this thing got buffed. I love this thing, by the way. It looks, I don't know, I don't like how it looked back then, but kind of growing on me now. I will say I put in a request for a Imperator skin for Cepheus, so maybe they'll listen, hopefully, and give me a skin. Last time I was yelling about Nero getting an Imperator skin. I know I said this in the video. Maybe listen to me. Maybe they already had plans for it. I don't know, but all I know is I said something and they got one and how it looks. So now I'm like, okay, maybe listening to me. So let's go back and put one for Cepheus, please. Anyways, so we'll see how that pans out. We'll see how that pans out. I know I've mentioned again, but this thing got a 30% increase in damage, which is insane. I don't think anything else got changed on it. I don't think anything else got changed on it. I don't think so, but yeah, like over 33% more damage for the sub weapon, which is huge. I think that's everything major. And then we'll talk about the new ship. So, Vexora. They added the first carrier in the game, the Vexora Dreadnought. I will say right now we have a black market for it. So people are able to max. I'm sure all the paying players now probably have it maxed out and they're able to try and see if it's any good. So yeah, so as you can see, you can put ships in here. So what they end up doing is put 2 constellations and an Enterprise to buff the constellations. That's what we think. We think the best build is, but we're not sure. 2 L's, 2 M's, good armor package. 2 L's, 2 M's, 2 S's. Yeah, that's good too. 2 M's, 2 L's, and S. Those are all pretty good. It's a tank ship. This can only be put in the front slot of the fleet. I'll show you guys that in a second. These are the enhancements for it. 90% resistances, 100% damage of the subships. HP. I don't know why we're doing so much shield nowadays, but I guess we are. Evade is good, and more resistances, which isn't bad. But yeah, so that's the 100% resistances, and then this just reduces damage by 10% for itself and its subships. Here are the stats for it. It's a lot of shield, man. Anyways, but yeah, as of now, we're not really sure if it's good or not. It costs a lot, man. That is a lot. 360. Augustus is 325. So that is a whole lot of points for a ship that doesn't really do a whole lot of damage, and it has to be a tank ship. It's only allowed to be in the front. You cannot move it anywhere else. You can't move it. Only just for the front load of the fleet. That is the only place you can put it. Yeah. So I don't know. We can't really want accuracy on it too much. So there's no stat for really for the damage for itself either. So I don't know. It's just we're just not really sure yet. Some people are trying it, and because people are able to buy it now, they can get it buffed out. But I haven't seen anything good about it. So right now it's just kind of interesting and new and meh. But everyone gets one, so that's nice. I got a 1-star Aether. Yay. All right, great. Anyways, I got Flame Peak. This thing got slightly buffed somewhere. I think that's new. That damage is new, like higher. That's the same. This is a pretty good ship overall, especially because it will give you all the confrontation will give you more fleet damage, like total fleet damage. So people get like 10%. I've seen someone get 15%. So that's pretty good, along with armor penetration once you max it out. But I mean, I don't, I'm not rich enough to get the whole thing maxed out. I have other things to buy. So I do think that's most of the changes. I know there's a few more. Everything just got slightly buffed. Everything got mildly power crept. I think this got nerfed slightly. Not for anything big, but for health and I think accuracy. Something else. Yeah, I'm trying to think if I remember anything else that was important or significant. I think a few things that were small things. You can read the patch notes if you guys would like. But those are all the big things I can think of. Alright, so now let's talk about my fleets. So I already kind of talked about this. Yeah, this is just basically the newest part of it. It just gives these a whole lot more damage. YZ, that thing gives more damage, but it dies really quick. No. Yes. 20%. But yeah, it still is not. I don't know. It just I need better stuff on it, but it's just got such low health. I think. Yeah. Yeah, that's why. Anyways. Oh yeah, so let's talk about this. So Nero is in the front. Gives 30% missile weapon damage for the entire fleet. I'm using Jonathan. By the way, everyone got more leadership cap because we can go higher than 70. So now the max is 80. So Morpheus is now 80, which means you get more leadership to put better ships in. So that is cool. Anyway, so he gives 50% attack for the middle rows, which is perfect for Augustus. So that's why I put Hermes there and Augustus. And then of course we have this boost, these two boosting Augustus as well, and we get 30% from Nero. This, I don't really know where else to put this. This is going to end up being 2-star patroller, and I'll show you guys why in a second. That's what it's going to end up being. So it's just kind of where it is right now, for now. And then for Augustus, I am using missile weapons for the most part, except for that. That's not a missile. Huh. Weird. I thought that was a missile. Anyways, I'm just yelling myself because I had one and I deleted it thinking I was perfectly fine. So I'll talk about that in a second. I guess I'll talk about that now. So here's my new theory. I think missiles are going to be slightly better than kinetics. So beforehand, kinetics were best because they gave the most damage per second. They had the lowest cooldown, which means that you would end up killing enemies faster because you would be less likely to overkill them. And they also had good accuracy. So they were always the best. They probably still are slightly the best even now. However, I shall show you guys my Ultimate Warzone. So, as it turns out, if you just skip the shield, like, hull damage is more important than total damage dealt. And here's an example. Like, nuclear deals 10 million damage, close to Augustus. If nuclear Nero was buffed, it would beat out my Augustus. However, most of it is just shield. And that's useless. I could skip it. I'm basically shooting at something I don't need to. Like, why would I shoot at shield when I could just skip that and go right to hull? Why bother, eating an extra health bar? So with that in mind, it's much better, I think, to just do missiles and skip a lot more shield and go right to hull. Especially now that more ships have higher shield, especially for especially if you're trying to destroy, this is my Star Patroller. Anyway, so you can see here, like, Nero is very strong. It does a ton of damage, and you know, I guess if I would, you know, people, so like there are some matches where people don't have much shield, and this will be one of the top damage shields even for hull. But in the end, like, if I change to just hull damage, what's number one? Arch, which makes sense, and then Star Patroller, followed by Hermes. Hermes is strong. There's a few times it actually beats out my Star Patroller. But yeah, so I mean, with that considered, like you can see here, ranking of what's doing the most damage makes more sense now. We have Augustus, Star Patroller, Hermes, and then Nero. Now that might change if I actually put a bunch of accuracy units on it and buff its do it properly. It might end up changing. But until then, I'm just telling you, like, this is what most results look like. And yeah, it's just insane. I mean, it's just, yeah, not only they're just insane. I don't really know what to say to people who complain. I really don't know what to say to them. Suck it up, I guess. I don't know, whatever. But yeah, Phoenix 2 is just, it's not that great. Yeah, this is the destroyer there. So there's really no point in buffing it. Like maxing it out or maxing out, it's just not worth it. So don't bother with it really. This thing dies too quickly. Might have to do something about that. But yeah, I mean that's kind of, I'm just showing you guys with the stats and this is mirrored almost everywhere. Sorry, my mouse is dying on me. Ananzis, and then my CPS. Same thing here. It's the same thing, right? So Augustus, and then, yeah, my mouse is dying. Star Patroller, then Hermes, and then Nero. Now, of course, I lost this one, so the results aren't as clear. But yeah, see, like right here. More damage than everybody else, but just for shield. What the heck? Now, I'm gonna probably show them this when the video comes out, and I might yell about it because I do think that's not right. I mean, that's an insane ratio. That's an insane ratio of basically wasted damage. So I'm really curious if maybe they can like add some shield penetration to it or something, because that's kind of insane. It is insane. Yeah, so we'll see about that. But I mean, as you can see here, I mean, beats out Augustus by 3 million points. I mean, just handily out damages it, and this is double boosted. I mean, handily. But again, you know, it means nothing because no hull damage. Basically shooting at stuff I don't need to. Really. And the story just continues. I mean, it's just the same. So Ananzis are really high up there, and then hey, that's right. This is Augustus. This is what you're supposed to see. That's why we say go Augustus, because it beats everything out. And then Star Patroller, Hermes, and then Nero. So just showing y'all kind of how that works. And once again, if we add in shield, it goes up higher. Even though it's still double damage here. And this is gonna, I know, and this lasts the longest too. I'll show you guys too, just how much Augustus ends up beating here. Time of survival. Everything lived the longest though, so it doesn't matter. Anyways, but yeah, so if nothing died here. Never mind. Anyways, but yeah, it's not even close in certain matches. Which is why, again, Augustus. But yeah, so I mean, it's just not as good. And actually that's not that bad either. Comparatively speaking. But anyways, but yeah, so I'm just showing you guys examples. I'm not trying to waste y'all's time, but I mean the examples are pretty darn clear, right? Very clear. Augustus, Hermes. This is one of those times where Hermes just beat out my Star Patroller. And then Nero. And if I go into Stealth, jumps up 8 million. But only less than 1 million. That's half of my Star Patroller. I mean, you can kind of see it's almost kind of useless. I'm just telling you. I mean, that's a crazy ratio. That is a crazy ratio. So I'm just saying, I think kinetics, you know, people, everyone tells you to do kinetics, keep doing kinetics, but I'm just showing you guys like what matters as far as damage goes. Like, why would you shoot at a health bar that's not necessary? You know, why bother? Just skip it. See, second up. Okay, so one of the times where it actually does beat out most of the rest of them. Oh no, wait. Okay, this is one of my older fleets where I put Augustus in its own thing. Yeah, so it only did 1 million. That was dumb. That was just a dumb fleet, but as you can see here, though, I mean, Star Patrol beat it up pretty easily. Yep, it's still the last one. So I'm not sure which time, just really trying to hammer in the point, like battle after battle after battle, and there's just no point to it. These are all post buff stuff because they actually undid all of our things. Yep, that's actually not that bad. Also different fleet loadout too. Anyway, so that's enough of that. I'm just showing you all the point here, and that's why I do think that if you end up getting Augustus, that missiles are probably a little bit better nowadays, just because you'll get so much more shield penetration and do meaningful damage. And I mean, yeah, you have less accuracy, but I think it's worth the accuracy loss, and that's up to you. You can say there's an argument for both sides. I mean, extra accuracy, an extra 2,000 accuracy is huge, right? This is 4.1. Wait, what? What the heck are we doing, guys? This is more accuracy. What are we doing here? Screw kinetics. 4.1 compared to 5.2. What are we doing here? Boys, what are we doing here? So that's 6.85. Let's do 35.7 divided by 6 is 5.95. Okay, so we're missing like 1,000, like 1,500 damage per second per attack. So it's less damage than that. So it's getting a lot less damage per second. I think connects are probably still slightly better because that's not a huge jump. But I'm just saying it's food for thought. Someone smarter than me can probably figure it out exactly. So stick with your kinetics, but just remember and think about, like, hey, you know, if you're shooting a bunch of shield, it's not as good as just dealing the whole damage. Simple as that. So that's my my little theory tidbit for today. So hopefully we'll get Nero better stuff on it and change it to accuracy, and we'll see if that ends up being any better. 6 seconds. Yeah. So we shall see how that ends up going. I don't even know why I even have that done here. Maybe I can just dismantle it. Yeah. I didn't need that. Oh, that got buffed, by the way. The I got buffed slightly. Not that it matters really, but whatever. Alright, that I believe is it. Thank you all for watching. Bye!